All right, guys, welcome back in for the next episode here of Sports Talk with Hawk. Today, we're going to go over some of the things that just make the leagues better and what some of the leagues still need to do for the betterment for either the players, the fans, or the sport as a whole. Primarily citing the NBA playoffs. They were long. They were long. And I don't think people realize how long they were. If your team was in it, time kind of flew by. But the NBA playoffs were long. And we're going to go over a couple different things between baseball, NBA, NFL, college, just some things that need to be done in each league to continue to make it better. All right, here we go. All right, guys, here we go. So let's jump into the NBA playoffs. And this has been a huge talking point because of what happened to Halliburton. This has been a talking point for some years, actually. So the NBA season is 82 games. I believe it is 10 too long. I do not believe it is 20 or 30. I believe it is 10 games too long. I believe you can finish the regular season and start the postseason April 1st. You start the postseason on April Fool's Day. Okay? That's what I see as something that can work. You take away 10 games, but you also take away 14 days. Because the play-ins started April 14th. Say that again. The play-in started April 14th. It is June 22nd when the NBA Finals were done. Over 2 months. 2 full months. The NBA playoffs started before the NFL draft even took place. By 2 weeks. It's way too long. And with this new big contract that's coming in, the question that everybody is now asking, and I believe Adam Silver is going to get pressure here because of how all this has taken place. Halliburton is out for the year. Tatum is out for the year. Damian Lillard is out for the year. 3 key players, 2 team stars, 1 secondary star, is out for the entire season. Lillard could come back in the playoffs, but Tatum and Halliburton are out for the next year. Out. That's not good. So, what can the NBA do? My thought is really simple. Shorten the season to 72 games. Your stars don't want to play more than that anyway. I mean, Kevin Durant will play 65 of the 82 games this year for the Rockets. What if it was 65 of 72? Would they play 70 of 72? You know, I'm good with not having to play all 82 games. Okay, I am not somebody who is, you know, against being able to sit. I've told you guys before, listen, you play for your home fans and you play hard. When you're on the road, those aren't your ticket holders. Those aren't your guys. Yeah, some could be spending money to come see blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, on the road, it's not your team's fans spending the money to come see you. Now, I think 72 games would help shorten the season and spread it out all at the same time. So if you take away 10 games, but only take away 13 days, you gain about 7 to 10 days, because most teams do not play back-to-backs anymore. And a lot of games will have 2 or 3 days in between them. And because of that, I would say that for 10 games, it would take 20 to 24 days, okay, to be able to play those 10 games. So let's just take away 14 days, but 10 games. You gain 6 to 10 games through the regular season to be able to stretch certain things out, stop playing a little bit earlier before the All-Star game, maybe not play, have the trade deadline be a off day. That was the one thing I've never understood, is why is the trade deadline always on a playing day? The trade deadline for both baseball and basketball, if you want this to be a huge thing, it needs to be a day where nobody's playing. And that's what I would do for the NBA. 72 games, and then take the playoffs down to 5 until the NBA Finals. Yes, 5. 5-game series. Simply put, 2, 2, 1. Both teams can get 2 home games. What they like with the 7-game series is it guarantees that 2 teams get 2 home games. Then win a game. A sweep is in 3 instead of 4. The reality is, it doesn't change that much. We don't need over 2 months of play to determine who the best team in the NBA is. I would actually argue the 5-game series empower a more level playing field. Because if you take one of those first 2 games on the road as the lower seed, you're in control. You are really in the driver's seat. So it is even more imperative to come out and play your best in game 1. So those are the fixes, I think, for the NBA. Now, the question is going to be, will the NBA owners, execs, people making decisions, will they go for that? Well, they should. Because it's worse if you don't have any stars being able to play. And it's starting to get pretty bad. We didn't hear of Achilles injuries. I mean, this is new stuff. And you don't want it to get to the point where the NFL is at. The NFL has enough Achilles injuries that if the NBA were to ever match them 1-for-1, you wouldn't have full teams. Because of how many Achilles injuries there are. There's only 5 starters in the NBA. There's 22 in the NFL. It's a big difference. So if 2 people go down, 2 starters go down in the NFL with Achilles injuries, it's not a big deal. 2 starters go down in the NBA with Achilles injuries, you're done. Your season is officially, like, it's basically over. So we need to address this. Adam Silver has been, or the NBA as a whole, not Adam Silver. The NBA as a whole is one of those leagues because of how much it's been attacked, because of how much money they had lost, because of how badly it had been run for the late Stern years, and because of how everything had kind of played out. It was losing money, so they were hoarding whatever they could get. And I understand that. You just had one of the most watched games, that Game 7, that there has been in the last 10 years. I think that's a good thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's key. So, when you're looking at everything, I love what it is. The playoffs were fantastic. But even with how fantastic they were, they could still lose a game in the first two series. And if you don't want to, if you want the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals to be 7 games as well, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Your conference finals and the NBA finals are 7-game series. I'll give you that one. Absolutely, I'll give you that one. But round 1, 5-game series. Round 2, 5-game series. We start April 1st. We end Memorial Day weekend. That's the latest you could end. You're over 2 months right now. You were way too long. Over 2 months. It's got to be under 2 months. You got to be able to keep that engagement. You can do that all the way with May. But when now you get in the summertime with vacations and everything else, that plays a huge part. I mean, shoot. I have a job. You guys have a job. We see in the summertime, people are on vacations all the time because that's when they have to use their vacation time, because that's when the kids are off school. So you don't want to get into summertime where the kids are off school and you're even more distracted than what's going on. You're even more distracted with everything you need to be able to accomplish. So those are the 2 fixes I think the NBA needs to make now. The aprons are fantastic. I love what they're doing. The news from today, the Kristaps Porzingis trade, and the Drew Holiday trade, the Jordan Poole trade, that is the Wizards making the Poole trade. So this one was kind of weird to me. So the Pelicans are getting Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and a second-round pick this year for C.J. McCollum and Kelly Olynyk. It gets the Wizards out from underneath that contract. And McCollum has an expiring contract. So right now, the Wizards are now expected to have $100 million in cap space in 2026. Because they got expiring contracts. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Now, for the Pelicans, they get younger. They get Jordan Poole, who I think is Poole can easily be that third guy. I like the part of his game where he can just be that guy you don't really want to leave alone. He averaged 4.5 assists last year, 20 points a game. And now New Orleans holds the number 7 draft pick and the number 23 draft pick. And the Wizards still hold their 6 and their 18. Now, I think this is a Pelicans move to try to get... I think they're trying to get ready to make a push in the West. They're tired of being at the bottom. Personally, I would wait until they add Las Vegas and Seattle as expansion teams, and New Orleans and Memphis get moved to the East anyway. That's what I would do. But nonetheless. And then you've got the other trade, which this one was interesting. This one really confused me. So the Hawks, Celtics, and Nets all basically, the Celtics are officially disbanding everything. I said this was going to happen, and they're doing it rather quickly. Like, this is very clear. So the Celtics are getting Georges Niang and a second rounder, and then all that cap space go to the Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis and a second round pick go to the Hawks, but then Terrence Mann and Atlanta's number 22 pick. Number 22. The Nets now have 5 first-round draft picks. Do not count the Nets out of making a move for anything. 5 first-round picks. Listen, they're saying right now, from everything that I have read, 12 players, the top 12 players they expect to be all-star potential. And then there is another 12 to 15 that they have that are going to be immediate impact role players. And then you can find your guys like Nembhard after that, but they're not really sure. With that being said, the Nets now have 5 picks in a draft where you can get maybe 2 starters and 3 role players in this draft. They gotta nail it. They have to nail this. Terrence Mann, I like that move for the Nets for multiple reasons. The Nets are not done making moves. Guarantee this. They're not done making moves. Drew Holiday goes to the Portland Trail Blazers for Anthony Simmons and 2 second-round picks. This one, once again, Celtics are getting younger, saves them cap space. So the offseason, and I said it, is absolutely, it started the next day. And then Kyrie Irving is said to be declining his $43 million player option, and he's going to sign a 3-year, $119 million contract. This will actually help the Mavericks, saves them a little bit of money, and the signing, if he's healthy, isn't bad. A little bit less than $40 million a year. I mean, basically it's $40 million a year. So it's not bad, but if he's injured, obviously it's going to be bad. All right, so back to what leagues need to do. So what does the NFL need to do? This one gets a little bit more interesting, and here's why it gets more interesting. The NFL is already king. Excuse me. The NFL is already king. To say that they need to do something else kind of seems, what's the word I'm looking for here? It seems out of place because they're already the best. But I think right now the NFL has one thing it really needs to do. It needs to fix the fields. And the NFL has to be able to figure out how to mandate that these fields get fixed. The non-contact Regular running. Not even the harsh angle that Tyrese Halliburton had when his Achilles popped. They're just running down the field. Normal. Some of them have jogged down the field and had an injury. They need to fix the fields. The fields have been said to be a problem for a long time. You gotta fix them. Yes, not all stadiums are owned by the team, which is the big issue. I've gone over this before. But just for some of you that may not know, the stadiums are not all owned by the teams. Some of them are owned by the city. So to make a change, the money cost would be XYZ, and they got to get it approved here. And it's a lot of red tape that's really stupid. If you want to play in the NFL, you can easily do this. I think it would have to be able to just mandate the fields have to be this. You either have to have straight grass or this option that's proven not to hurt the Achilles. Now, I am not saying go back to AstroTurf because we had a lot of concussions with AstroTurf. I mean, it was basically felt on top of concrete. And, people's guys' arms, running backs hated sliding. I mean, it was bad. But you didn't have Achilles injuries. It wasn't that your cleats were sticking into a turf and the cleat wasn't being stopped from popping out when you lifted your foot. I believe there has to be a move to fix the fields. They're going to go to 18 games. I do not like this. Let me be very clear. I like the 17-game schedule. It kind of grew on me. I was a little bit worried about it. We have 32 teams. It adds one more interleague game every year. So I think it's good. There's only one division, right? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, there's only one or two divisions now that you don't play anybody in a year. So with that, I love it. The overseas stuff, I'm not sure how it's going to work. I don't know if that's really the way to go. I think the NFL's biggest issue right now is the field. I know there's going to be some fans like, well, you got to fix the refs. Listen, leave the refs alone, will you? You couldn't do any better of a job in bang-bang plays. Over a course of time, you won't do any better of a job. You just won't. It's bang-bang. You're looking at feet when they're doing a foul with their hands. Or you're looking at their hands and their feet get tangled up and you don't realize it was their feet that got tangled up and you think it was their hands and you call a pass interference penalty when all they did was get their feet tangled up, which is not pass interference. We know holding happens. We get it. I think the NFL is trying to let people play. They're trying not to get floppers in the league because so many will be like, ah! You'll hear that when you're watching, like they get getting mauled by the offensive lineman. The guy's holding him. That's all that's happened. I did get tired in Game 7 of all the screaming and trying to get fouls. It did drive me nuts. It really did drive me nuts. But really for the NFL, I think it's only one. I think you fix the field issues, which will fix the injury issues, which fix the play, the stars being able to play. I really think it's that simple. Now, baseball. The only issue with baseball is the length of the season. 162 games. 162 games. It's so long. It needs to be shortened to 134 games. And, you could probably go 124, actually. Instead of starting in April, like opening day, some places can still be really chilly for opening day. Move opening day back to May 1st. Move opening day back to May 1st. And own May. May is, in all this, think about this. If the NBA were to do that, NBA would then be a little bit more condensed. So you'd have the first and second round and getting started in the conference finals before opening day of Major League Baseball. So all the fans that would be split are now no longer split. Their focus is directly on baseball or whatever it may be. I think the baseball becomes better if you wait until May to start. And it gives the ability for May to be the warm-up month and really just have a little bit more fun. The pitch clock has been fantastic. The shift rules have been amazing. The torpedo bat, I think, is actually a good thing. I like what I'm watching, not going to lie. We still have pitchers that are throwing a crazy amount of strikeouts. And we still have guys that are getting absolutely hammered. Honestly, I like where baseball's at right now. Do I kind of wish it wasn't 9 innings long? Yes. Does it feel like it gets long sometimes still? Yes, it does. But that's the type of game it is. I don't think you can shorten the game, and I really don't want them to shorten the game. Baseball right now's main issue is they have got to fix the length of the season, which everybody's been complaining about for a long time. And I think if you do that, you'd have a lot more interest in the early part of the year. Everybody's like, and I've heard this argument. Well, they don't care if people are watching early on in the year because that's when teams are trying to figure stuff out. Hold it. So what you're saying is those games don't matter at all. Well, if those games don't matter at all, get rid of them. Get rid of the games that don't matter. If you're only playing 124 instead of 162, then you've got more games that matter quicker. And then they're like, well, but the trade deadline comes up so fast then. You've only got you got 3 months to be able to decide. Three months. Do you hear what you're saying? The trade deadline is the end of July. They have 3 months. They have May, June, July. It's not going to hurt anything. But what it will make is for teams that may not be upper echelon, that could be just fighting for wild card spots, will be in it. There's only 124 games. They're going to be there, which means more teams could be making moves to be able to get better, not selling their teams heading into June or July. Like, yeah, well, we're not looking good now. So, I think baseball's okay. I love the moves that they've made. I've actually really been into baseball. It's really been fun watching this. I cannot wait for the July baseball check-in. I really can't. It's been really, really good. Baseball's really, really exciting right now. I love the parody. You can't guess what's going to happen. You can't guess what's going to happen, and that's what I love about it. To be honest, that is what I love about it. So, there's the NBA, what the NBA needs to do, plus a couple of things. The NFL's really only main issue, and baseball. College football, go watch the CFP Talk podcast that I did. That's what college football needs to fix. College basketball is college basketball. They could start later. That's really all I think they could do. I don't really think there's much college basketball can do because March Madness still matters. It still has the ratings. It's an iconic thing in the United States. You don't have to mess with much. I would just start the season a little bit later for college basketball. That's all I would do, really. And we're not even going to talk about NASCAR because NASCAR, I used to watch every race of NASCAR. and I can't even do it. Like I've got tickets for the Brickyard 400 this year. We went last year. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Um, that one lost that one lost the wheels on the track a long time ago. It really did. So, all right, guys. A little bit different. That was a huge story last night while I was watching stuff after the podcast. I had talked about it with a couple of my friends, and yeah, I think the NBA's got to make a move. I really do. I think the NBA needs to make a move, and they need to make it quickly so that they do not lose interest in the league. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this Tuesday evening. Make it the best Wednesday that you can tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like the podcast, and ring the bell. And as always, I deeply appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow night. And until then, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. Have a great evening.